Alright guys, so I made a little mistake and I did not start recording on accident. So we're actually going to be doing the snorkel install. We got the Warrior risers for the 2023 Outlander 850 XMR, and I got a little bit done off camera just because of me not actually starting the video, but I'm gonna go ahead and update y'all, tell y'all where we're at, and then we're gonna get back to work on the install of this thing. So we got the left side plastics pulled off, and I think that's about all the plastics we're gonna have to pull off, so that's good. But the first modification that I went ahead and did, I'm waiting to drill the holes in the top up here. I got some hole saws to actually drill these holes, but I want to go ahead and take my time with that because I really don't want to mess that up. But the first modification we did here is actually having to cut the end off of this tube here. This is your belt outlet, and originally it has this end on it. It goes right here, and in the instructions I'm gonna tell you it's not 100% clear on where to actually cut it. Let me get these instructions out for y'all so that we can see them. I think it's around, yeah, it just kind of says cut here, and there's not a whole lot of indication where to cut. I know it says cut here, but the photo just doesn't really do it too much justice. So I ended up just cutting it right here at this top kind of indentation. There's a top and a bottom. I cut it right there. That seems to look kind of close to what the video or the photo is looking like, so that's where I cut it, and it's looking like it's lining up exactly how they have it. So they have it right there, and that's looking about the same. So I'm gonna leave it there. I kind of like where it's sitting right there, but this end got cut. That's the only thing we've done off camera other than taking all off the plastics, which are pretty simple. So we took off the plastics, we took off the screen up here, and we took off the radiator cover right there. So we're gonna get to work. The next steps, I think I'm gonna actually have to drill a hole in this cover support right there. So right here they call it the pod support, and it says reinstall the pod cover, or well, reinstall the pod cover, then use the 2.5-inch hole saw to drill through the center hole drilled into the pod cover. Okay, so we are actually gonna have to go ahead and drill our pod cover up. Little sad about that because I don't know, I'm nervous drilling into that. I'm nervous about it, but I did get some hole saws, and it says we're gonna need a 2-inch hole and a 2.5-inch hole. So we're gonna have the two 2-inch holes and then the one 2.5-inch hole. So that's gonna be for your belt. This is gonna be your belt intake, this is gonna be your belt exhaust, and then the air intake there. So what we're gonna do is get the measuring tape, and I guess we're gonna measure and mark on our pod cover and get the drilling. You know, this is kind of the big one because I don't really want to screw this up, but we're gonna make it happen. So let me grab my tape measure, because what we're gonna do is actually measure like from the top to the center of the hole and mark it, and then same thing over here. So let me grab my tape measure and we'll get to measuring. So right here on the instructions for drilling these holes in the pod cover, we're gonna have to go down 1 3/8 inches from each end up on top, and that's gonna be the center of our holes on the 2 holes on the side. And then for this middle hole, it's gonna be 6.5 inches down. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and mark it on here on the actual pod. So it tells you how far to go down, but it doesn't tell you how far to go over. So just judging from the photo, I'm gonna kind of estimate we're looking somewhere around this area, and I want to make it even on both sides. So we're gonna call that 1 1/4 inches from the ends. Okay, so we're gonna go 1 1/4 inches from the ends, and then we're gonna go down from there, and I'm gonna go down with the body line, which is kind of what it's showing in the photo. So I'm gonna go down 1 3/8 inches from there, there's 1 3/8 inches there, and then 1 3/8 inches over here. There's 1 3/8 inches there. And now I'm gonna go down from the top peak, which is here. You do not want to go from the top peak of the actual screen. You want to go from the peak of the plastic. So from the peak of the plastic, we're gonna go down 6.5 inches from dead center. Kind of carved it. All right, so 6.5. Let me put that back. 6.5 is looking right about there. So there's 6.5 there. So that's gonna be where we put the center of the 2.5 inch hole. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is take my drill bit and drill a pilot hole right where I need to. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to do this with one hand. All right, and there's no going back from that. So we're gonna get this one too. All right, and then this big one here. This one is gonna be a little tricky because it's at an angle. So what I'm gonna do is drill in a little bit and just kind of step it up. My drill come up. So there's that pilot hole there. All right. And now we can switch over to the 2-inch and drill these holes out. Those look pretty close. All right, guys. So we got it down on a chair here. I just don't want to accidentally drill into the full wheel of plastics. So using our guide holes, we're gonna go ahead and put the drill bit of the drill into there. All right. And I'm gonna take it slow with this just because I don't want to really mess it up. All right, and those definitely are not centered. All right, guys, so we got the cover back on, and you can see the belt exhaust right here is it looks like we actually need to cut some more off of it. Like I said, the instructions weren't very clear on where to cut it, but the only reason I'm saying that is because it's kind of wedged down in there. It's kind of being forced down, and you can see it. It just looks like it's got a little too much pressure on it. So I'm thinking we're gonna cut on the bottom of that big groove right there. So that's gonna happen, but for now it's in the right spot. So we're actually gonna do what the next step calls for and drill the hole into this support back here. They tell you just take the 2-inch hole saw and drill right into it. I don't really know if I'm gonna be able to get it down in there with all this in the way, but this is so that we can run the air intake through there, and that is just like a support for this. But the other thing I want to say is actually under this is all your vent lines, and they're actually zip tied from the factory, like right there behind the support, and it doesn't tell you in the instructions. So I'm just telling you, you might want to go ahead and move those vent lines out the way. That way you don't just accidentally hole saw right into them. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and stop there, just because I don't actually I don't have the pipe in there, so I don't know how much I need to take off from there, and I do not want to take off more than I really have to. So right now that's what the hole's looking like. As you can see, I left plastic there and plastic there. I may have to cut it off, I don't know yet. All right, guys, so this is the first piece we're going to be needing, and if you look down in here, let me move these out the way. We're going to be installing it into this factory boot. So we actually have to get the hose clamps off, pull this factory little snorkel off, and then we'll install this this right here, which I believe is what's going to be going through here. So that's already telling me we're probably going to have to cut all that off, which kind of sucks. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and nip it off, so that way it doesn't give us any other problems with trying to get it on there. All right, guys, so I went ahead and nipped it off. Tried to keep as much material as I can. It really didn't mess up the rigidity that much, but hopefully this is going to help us get this in there as best we can. I may still have to pull more off. I'm really trying not to. I think that's gonna be good enough, but I still gotta figure out how this actually fits in there. So let's get to work on that. I had to pull this part up a little bit to actually be able to get to that hose clamp down there. Oops. And I'm judging by the fact that it's got 2 hose clamps that there's a connector in there. So we're gonna go ahead and undo this one. And that way we should be able to pop this out now. And it's gonna be a little tricky with one hand. But there we go. All right, so we went ahead and popped that out the factory intake. Now this smaller snorkel should come out, and there is like a metal little connector in there. There's the factory intake. So I can pull these apart and then put them all together piece by piece. And that's gonna really help me to assemble it. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is slip this piece into it. And y'all saw it from the other angle now. So I got that piece, getting it slipped in. All right, it's slipped in. No, it's not. There we go. All right, and now I'm gonna go ahead and just pull apart the other piece. Let me start this piece. I'm gonna slip that on, and I'm assuming they want this to come up through there. Now I think we can test fit the cover on it and see if it's gonna actually line up or not. We had the side one on, but now it seems like it doesn't want to. There we go. And that's on there, boys. And it is coming out like it's supposed to. So that's gonna fit right there, just like that. That's looking really clean on the air intake side. So that's gonna be the snorkel riser there. All right, guys, so there it is with the CVT belt exhaust on. And it's looking really good. None of it's glued, of course. It's not on, I guess I should say. It's more just me mocking it up. I also need to get to work on getting this side good to go. We have to undo it down here at the intake, and then of course mark that hole where the pipe's gonna go so that it can go ahead and go up through there. All right, guys, so to get to the where they want to connect the CV inlet snorkel, it's back in there. But so we're gonna pull this inner fender out of so this is where we're gonna be putting the snorkel into, and of course it had to be as hard as possible, and the actual screw for the hose clamps on the inside. So I might have to sneak a screwdriver back there, but there we go. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and undo it from down here under this filter, and then I think we can pull that hose out. Also, I want to note, like from the factory, this fitment right here, that plastic is like digging in to that hose. And I'm not saying it could be a problem, but I mean, after a few years of that rubbing, I would imagine it would rub through there. Now let's see if we can go ahead and detach it from here. All right, pull that out. Go ahead and grab this hose clamp so it doesn't scratch up the plastics while we're messing with this. And now we're gonna try to pull that pipe up and out, and hopefully it pulls out of that connector down there. Okay, same thing, a metal connector connecting the two. All right, and now we're left with this open pipe, which is what we're gonna go ahead and connect that snorkel to. So I'm gonna go grab the snorkel tube, run it from the top down and into that pipe. And you can see we fish that piece of PVC down. I'm gonna go ahead and slip it into the tube and then just hook up the hose clamp. That's a little loose fitting, I'm gonna be honest. With you, that fits kind of loose. Not too happy with the way that fits. I'm sure the hose clamp's gonna sync it up just fine, but I'd like to see it fit a little tighter. Well, at least that hit the ground. It's on there tight. It's all the way in, all the way around. So now we can go ahead and move up to the top and start walking on the top. On the top here, we have this piece extending up now, and this will be where we're trimming that cover that's gonna go there. But right here, this is just gonna connect right there. So we're gonna go ahead and connect that up. And I'm pretty happy with that. Now we need to figure out just how much we're gonna have to cut right there. I'm gonna go ahead and go set this down and I guess do some marking. Already it's looking like that whole bottom is gonna have to get trimmed off. And right here. So that's what we're gonna have to be cutting off right there. And that looks like a good little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull it on off, and I can kind of see where it is. I'm gonna try to do it with the hole saw. All right, guys, so this is them mocked up. I haven't straightened them up or anything like that just yet. Now what we can do is start pulling stuff off and actually gluing it all. About gluing these, so really would like to be able to pull this off if I need to, and it would really suck to pull that off if those are glued. So I may end up trying to like ultra black silicone those on there instead. I know it's not gonna be solid and it's not gonna be all the way, but I really want to be able to take this off. I tell you what, if I'm about to try to pull the screen off with these bolts, and if that screen comes right out, I'm gonna go ahead and glue those, because then I'll be able to get into this just through that screen. And I would like to have those glued just for the actual structure of it. So we're gonna get to let me try that out. I'm gonna try to pull that off real quick, guys. So I got those bolts out just to see, and okay, so that cover comes off, but oh, it looks like we got some tabs here. This is one of them things where I don't really want to break that. Yeah. All right, sorry, I know the shot isn't the greatest, but it's about all I can do with the way y'all are set up. Like I said, I really don't want to break these tabs. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, so all right, I was about to mess up. Those tabs on the inside are for the screen itself. The actual screen's held in with these bigger tabs. So let's see if we can just pop that out. Sweet. Okay, so we can gain full access by pulling the screen out. Yeah, so I think I'm going to be pretty comfortable with actually gluing these, because I can get to everything pretty much in here, which I was worried about doing. And it looks like I found where I'm going to shoot my vent lines. Way down in there, if you can see that speck of tan, that goes right out into the outside, and then I can run the vent lines up. So that's where I'm gonna run them. I actually read some of the instructions, and it actually says to silicone these joints here, that way you can remove them. So I didn't know if that was a good idea or not. That was just something that had popped in the back of my head to maybe silicone them, but then I had talked myself out of it. It looks like we're gonna go ahead and silicone them. The instructions say so. I thought about it, so I'm gonna go ahead and silicone them. That way I can pull them off. But we're gonna go ahead and pop these off and pull all this stuff out and pull this off, hopefully for one last time. And as we're doing it, we're gonna make sure to mark all the joints. That way, if we do pull it off and it tweaks a little bit, we know where it was supposed to be. And we're gonna go ahead and everything's gonna get pulled apart, everything's gonna get glued back together, and then we'll be ready to install it. So we got the Snorkel riser assembly off, and we also got the pod off. So these are our tubes here that kind of popped out. This one doesn't really matter, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, I can twist it right here if I need to, so that's nice. The end tank is a little different. Got all these joints. Don't want to do a whole lot of touching, just because they're at where they need to be. And it goes down into there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mark all these up. Then we're gonna come down here, undo it from there, and see if we can pull that whole thing out, and then we can get to gluing. Same thing for the end tank here. We're gonna get to marking all these up, pull it out, and glue them all together. So I got that pipe down there hooked up, unhooked. I'm trying to sneak this out. I don't know if I'll be able to, but even though we marked it, just be careful, because it's always good to not move it. The marking is just more of a just in case. You see how easily this was moved? You see what I'm saying? So now what we can do is when we glue it, we're gonna line it right back up with the lines. All right, so I got this one out, and I have the air intake sitting right over here. So I'm about to get to pulling it all apart and gluing it all together. Okay guys, so we got the CVT inlet glued up, we got the air inlet glued up, the outlet is glued up. I just put it back, and this is what I'm talking about as far as like gluing this thing. It's okay to glue it any way you want, because it just kind of rotates in the actual boot itself, so that doesn't really matter. But these vent lines right here are gonna have to be ran up the snorkels. So they actually include like some T's that fit into there, or like more like just actual couplers that fit in there and extend it with their vent line. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these ran. The way I'm gonna run these is I'm gonna run them right down, probably either through here or actually through this and down, because that goes right out the cover. So I'm just gonna run them down and then back up onto the snorkels. Okay guys, so they only sent me 5 of these connectors right here, which there's 5 vent lines here. And there is this extra one, this 6th one right here, which goes to the top of the coolant reservoir. But they do say in the instructions not to run the overflow, but that's not the overflow. I do not believe, I may be wrong, but that's not the overflow there. This right here is the actual overflow. So I'm a little confused why they only sent me 5, especially considering there's 6 holes in all the snorkel risers. So I'm a little disappointed in that. All right guys, went ahead and got all the vent lines ran outside of the pod. So the only one that's a little short is this one over here, but I actually plan, if I have enough clear hose, to tuck those back down in there. That way you don't see the pink or you don't see the T. These T's are super hard to get on this stock vent line. It was like, I'm telling you, I used like WD-40, a whole bunch of other things just to try and get it on, and it's just really difficult to. But I went ahead and got them all in enough to where the barb is grabbing, so it should do its job there. I really hope the clear pipe is easier to put on. It would only make sense that they would include a T that fits their own vent line, but I wish they would have kind of at least put like a reducer. That way it slid on a little better. I get tight is good, but this was just way too tight. I mean, I spent a good 30 minutes putting all these in. So I'll go ahead and I guess we're gonna start to put all the pod back on right now. All right guys, we're getting closer. We got the belt intake, and once again, it's looking in the right spot. This is not in the right spot because we have this where it can rotate in that boot, but looking really close. So we're gonna go ahead and slip the cover on, see what it looks like. Well guys, it's looking pretty good. These look like, these lined up into the holes perfectly. The only thing we messed up a little bit, you can see we messed up right there. It's supposed to have a gap for that other one to slip into. It looks like I'm gonna be able to force it down a little bit and slide it on there, but you know, it's okay. It's nothing major. I had a little bit of extra room right here where I had trimmed for the CVT inlet and or the belt box inlet. So I went ahead and just ran the vents out there, and that's a pretty clean look to me. I can have them laid out flat, but obviously I still want to try and tuck the pink in, and they are free. They're not pinched at all. They move just in and out just fine. But I still want to tuck them in and have the clear running. But we'll see if we have enough clear or not. I can always get some more. But I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do is throw the assembly on and see if it all lines up good. All right guys, well they're on, and they are actually siliconed as well. These things are a little like, it's really hard to tell if they're straight or not, you know, but they got some play to them, so you can play with them, you can fiddle with them, get them how you like it, I guess. But I figure stuff is falling down and everything. I figure as you're riding it's gonna move around, it's gonna tweak a little bit, so I ain't gonna be crazy worried about it. But just look at how amazing that looks. These are looking amazing. So the last real thing to do is run the vent lines, and I don't think that's going to be very hard, but I guess we could get to that. But I cannot stop just looking at this thing. It looks awesome. And y'all can see I got a 420 in the background. I'm actually snorkeling that as well. But it, just like a 2-foot snorkel on that 420 is around the same height as these smaller snorkels on this bike, just because of the sheer height of the bike from the factory. And with some bigger tires, because these are actually 28s with like some 30-inch tires, I think the snorkel is going to be perfect for most mud parks. I'm going to go ahead and put the vent lines on, and then I guess we can end this video out. So let me put them vent lines on real quick. All right, guys, this is looking amazing. I got the vent lines ran. I was right. They shorted me. They got me. You end up having to use this line from that coolant housing. It's not the overflow line, so I don't really know. I don't know the deal on that. You can see some coolant is in there. I'm not really worried about it. I see a whole lot of guys with 6 vent hoses, so unless one of them's fake, I don't really know what else to say about it. I'm gonna have it ran. If I have any problems, I'll let y'all know about it. But it's looking amazing. This is how I chose to run my vent lines. I've seen other people run them this way, yes, but I just think it's the cleanest look, and it does look very nice. The bike is not back together all the way yet, but y'all seen me pull it apart. Oh wait, no, y'all didn't, because I didn't film it. I'm sorry. We'll get it at another day because it's getting late, so I'm gonna just wrap it on up. But so I do want to go ahead and just let this be known. This was not a 2023 kit. Just with how new this bike is, nobody really has a 2023 kit. So this is actually a 2022 Can-Am Outlander 850 XMR kit from Warrior Riser. And yes, the answer is yes, you can run it. It bolted up just fine. It fit up just fine. By that, it was very hard to get everything critiqued, but I imagine it's all the same as it would be on the 2022. So with that being said, all those joints are siliconed. It all looks pretty nice. They do make some end plates to actually go up into there, and I may put those in, I may not, I don't know. My first impressions of it, it was pretty difficult. I'm definitely not new to this kind of stuff, so it is definitely something that you got to take your time with. I went ahead and took my time with it. And also, you do have to cut into your plastics. Luckily, it's just accessory plastics. You know, this piece had to be trimmed just very slightly down here to actually fit on. And obviously, we had to cut the holes into this and the support behind there. Besides that, we had to cut this tube here. And after that, I mean, it all went on. But if you don't want any of your plastics being cut, or you don't want to cut that tube, by all means, don't buy this kit, you know. In my case, I'd much rather not sink the bike, because I am going to be taking it deep, as y'all probably already saw in the other video. If you haven't seen it, go watch the first video where we kind of did a little review on this 2023. Nothing's really changed too much between the 2022s, but it definitely is my first impressions on actually owning a Can-Am, and just how I like it. But also, we put it in the pond after, and we took it deep, but now we can take it even deeper. So it's gonna be nice to see the water right here in the next videos. We're gonna see just how deep Zona actually gets. But we're honestly thinking about maybe going to Tower Tracks, so y'all see by the next title of the video whether or not it's Zona or Tower Tracks. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it on out, guys. I hope this video wasn't too long. I hope y'all enjoyed. Like I said, please subscribe, please like, it really helps out. And it's looking amazing. First 2023 with Warrior Risers on it. I feel pretty confident saying that. So you guys have a great one, and I'll see y'all next time.